Godzilla Month is coming to an end, but as today we look at our Patreon pick for the month, as we are jumping into the Millennium Era, as we're talking about 2004's Godzilla Final Wars. Cue Godzilla War.
Your host, Parker, Dan, and Angela slice and dice their way through the good.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
The bad.
You brought the devil!
There's a devil inside everyone.
And the ugly movies you love.
And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it!
Hold your favorite films and franchises tight, because they aren't safe. In fact, it's already too late. It's time to dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dissect That Film, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, my wonderful co-host, Angela, because Dan's not here tonight.
He's not here in spirit. He's somewhere.
No, he was eaten by Godzilla. He offered his body for sustenance for Big G. And joining us once again is one of our good friends and fellow podcasters. He is the co-host of the Flicks and Friends podcast, and he's just all around amazing dude. And that is Paul. What's up, Paul?
Oh, I was about to say Dustin's here.
No, get out of here, Dustin.
Get out of here. You get out of here.
We are not talking about him tonight.
No.
Glad
to be here. Glad to be here for Big G.
Absolutely.
This is my first non-animated movie I've been on for. So
I know it's
well, technically.
I mean, you were
there's a lot of animation.
I was saying you were here for Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah, Secrets of the Ooze, yeah. So live action cartoon.
Yeah, so either you're here for animation or you're here for movies where guys are in reptile suits.
Yes. Or based on animation.
Yeah, exactly. It's either or. Oh man, but today we are concluding Godzilla Month. It's sad with the months fly by. I swear 2024 has just literally, you blink and it's gone. And the fact that we're already on our last episode of Godzilla Month, you know, it's sad because I've had a blast like discovering getting into Godzilla more. The good Godzilla, as people would say, even though I will always defend my girl here, Zilla. She's my girl.
We're gonna
talk about her.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about her today. But yeah, it's
we have
it's
to
sad.
go out with a bang.
We do. This movie, I feel, is a perfect movie to talk about to like conclude a month that's dedicated to Big G, because this movie, whoo, it's a roller coaster that no one did the safety checks on. They were just like, get on it. You better hold your breath because you might die. But
hold on to your butt.
Paul, I feel everyone knows you guys over at Flicks and Friends, but if you want to share what Flicks and Friends is all about, go for it.
Yeah, so Dustin, go ahead.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah.
All right.
So we do something similar to what you guys do, but not as in great detail. We are much lazier about what we do.
No, don't say that.
We take movies. We usually have themed months, and we tackle a theme and go at it. And these lovely people have been on our show numerous times, we got some cool stuff coming up next season. We're changing up the format a little bit. The whole season is themed instead of a month by month. Because we were kind of tired of being limited from month to month. Because when you give yourself a single theme for a month, you're like, oh well, shit, I only have a limited pool to pull from. Mm. So we're doing A to Z. So every episode is going to be starting with the letter A, then B, then C, then so on and so forth. Until we get through the alphabet, and they were all voted on by the people. the people have spoken, and we have our list is, I think, now complete, and they will come out as each episode comes out. So there'll be a bit of a surprise, except for to the people who are going to be guesting with us. But yeah, that's what we do, and you can find us on the socials and shit. But I don't know them, to be honest with you. I think Parker knows them better than I do.
I got them all saved. I got them all saved somewhere. I just copy and paste. They go in there. They go into the notes.
Look, man, Dustin does all the hard work. I just show up, man.
I guess we do got to give Dustin some props. He does. He does quite a bit.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Oh man, yeah. So today we're talking about Godzilla Final Wars from 2004, directed by, again, I have to say this every episode, and we have done many episodes. This is like our 5th Godzilla episode where I have to try to pronounce Japanese names the best I can. Okay, I don't want to offend anyone.
I want to say something real quick.
Okay. So
when I was listening to 85, when y'all did 85, I was listening
84,
to it, and
84.
Yeah. Well,
we didn't cover the American one. We covered the Japanese one.
Yeah. Sorry. When y'all covered that film, I was listening to it, and you started off so hot, dude. You started off so hot. You were saying names so well, and I was literally thinking in my head when I talked to Parker, I'm gonna tell him you did such a good job, and then you hit a wall. But I think you got in your head, and you got nervous. And it just, I was like,
I overthink it. I overthink it. I read it, and it's like, the letters start to scramble, and I'm just like, I don't want to offend anyone.
I don't know what I'm doing with my hands right now.
Somebody tell me what to do with my hands. I'm gonna probably fuck up the very first name, and that is the director, Ryuhei
Kitamura.
There we go. He directed Midnight Meat Train. I did not know that. I've seen that movie once, long time ago. I remember renting it. I was like, "Oh, Bradley Cooper." This was. I think that movie came out before Bradley Cooper was even a big deal. But I was like, "Oh, this is an interesting movie." I guess it was based on a Clive Barker short story.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's called Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah, it's literally a dude who like stalks a dude on a train, and he's like a serial killer. I think that's the basis of that movie. I don't know.
It's on a midnight meat train to Georgia.
It was written by Asao Kiriyama and Wataru Mamura. All right, here we go. Casting. Woo-wee, here we go. You ready? So again, a lot of these movies, because the fact that I can't keep up with like names, a lot of people's names aren't in my notes. So like when I'm going through this cast, I'm doing it out of respect for the people in this movie, but I probably don't remember who these characters are because I'm terrible with names. So, but
there's a lot of characters.
So many of them.
There are a lot.
So many.
There are a lot.
I do know one guy because it was the one, like one American dude in this movie.
I was gonna say, you better know who he is.
Okay, here we go. So we have Masahiro Matsuoko as Shinichi Osaki, Rei Kikukawa as Miyuki Otanashi, Don Fry as Captain Douglas Gordon, most American fucking name ever, or for the Japanese dub, it was Tessio Genda, Maki Mizuno as Anna Atanashi, Kazuki Kitamura as it was Zillion, right?
Exilion.
Oh, it says you say the X
in the English dub you do.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I watched Japanese. It's just Zillion.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, I watched the Japanese one.
Let's say in the English dub they say Exilion.
I was like, I don't think that's how you say
it.
Should
just be. It should.
Zillion,
It's just
yeah.
Zillion. Yeah.
Kane Kosuji as Kasama. Kumi Mizuno as Akiko Namakawa. Kenji Sahara as Dr. Kinjuji. Masami Najasawa as and Chichiro Atsuka
Chihiro.
as it's what?
Chihiro. So the
Chihiro?
only reason I remember this is because it's the same. That's the name of the main girl from Spirited Away. Her name is Chihiro.
Oh, okay. All right. So Chihiro, Atsuka. I'm guessing these were the Mothra twins.
Yeah, they were the
Since it
twins,
was- okay.
but they're not twins this time.
No.
Shigeru Izumaya as Saman Taguchi. There's so many names.
Dude, there's so
my
many.
God. Masakatsu Funaki as Commander Kamasaka. Kenji Kohashi as X. Okay. Masato Ibu as Zillion General. Jun Kudamura as Major Komoro. Akira Takarada as Nayotaro Dajo. Kenta Suga. Daigo. Kenta Suga as Kenta. Okay, it just gave that person their actual name. Kenta Takuchi.
It was a kid, so I assume.
Now, in Japanese, if it's a T and an S, do you just say the S? Su. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. So Tsutomu Kitagawa is the suit actor for Godzilla.
So this is who I was talking about. This is who will be at our Retro Toy-Con here in Greenville in a week.
So he was Godzilla for all the Millennium movies.
Yes.
And I guess in the prior movies, the Godzilla suit weighed about 100 kilograms. Right? That makes sense? That's heavy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he literally compared wearing the suit to like he said, quote, carrying a fat guy on his back because it was so uncomfortable and heavy. And I guess for this movie, because they wanted Godzilla to be more agile, it only weighed 30 kilograms, where he said it weighed like I had a toddler on my back or a small child.
So how much did you say it weighed? The first number?
The original Millennium suits were 100 kilograms. Does that make sense? Kilograms?
Yeah, that's 220 pounds, basically.
Ooh, yeah, man.
Full-grown adult.
So, yes.
Which is normal for most of the Godzilla suits throughout its history. It weighed a lot. It was between like 180 to 250 pounds.
You would think with modern technology, they'd find a way to make it.
The fact that they got it down so much for this movie, like from 100 to 30, and it still looked damn good. Like I like the suit in this movie. I think Godzilla looks badass. It's like,
it looks great.
What? Like, why couldn't this happen fucking 20 years before? Like, what happened here?
I'm sure he was saying the same thing. He's like,
we were literally talking about, you would listen to the episode, the fact that like the suit actor for Godzilla, the Return of Godzilla, like they didn't even let him. They weren't even having him in the suit all the way before they were setting off explosions and stuff.
He's like, "Hey guys, can you chill the fuck out?"
Yeah, like I'm burning here. Like I'm dying. Let's stop.
They went burning Godzilla.
Oh,
ding, like a light bulb came on.
Whoa! And then they'll do it again in King of the Monsters. Naoko Kamio as Manila and Rodan. I don't like Manila.
No one likes Manila.
Kazuhiro Yoshida as Gigan and Hedora. Or is it Hedora or is it Hedora?
Hedora.
It's
Hedora. Okay. And that's Garbage Monster, right? Smog Monster?
Yes.
Toshihiro Ogura as Ingiris and Ibira. Which one is Ibira? Or Ibira?
Ibira is...
Ibira.
Yeah,
it's
is
the
lobster.
All right, cool. I know there's a whole movie based on this one. I've never seen it. And I went, oh yeah, there's a crab monster in this franchise.
Ibira, Core of the Deep.
Yes. Oh, another Godzilla movie where Godzilla's name isn't even in the title. Motokuni Nakajawa as Monster X, King Caesar, and Kaiser Ghidorah. So there you go. There's your cast. That's the last time, at least until we cover another Godzilla movie or another foreign film where I got to do that all over again. So my apologies to anybody out there who just went, whew, I ain't listening to the rest of that episode. This was released November 29th, 2004 in LA and December 4th, 2004 in Japan. It's crazy that it came out later in Japan, even though it is a Japanese film. Pretty crazy. This is the longest Godzilla movie. Oh, no, that's a lie. Not the longest Godzilla movie we've covered on the show, because this one holds the cake as the longest Godzilla movie ever at 2 hours and like 14 minutes.
It's about 2 hours and 14 minutes too long.
Stop it. Leave her alone. But this one ran at 2 hours and 5 minutes. It had a budget of 1.9 billion yen, or $19.3 million. And it had a box office of 9.1 million. So it did not do well. This would be the last Godzilla movie until the American remake in 2014. So 10 years Godzilla took a nap, which is kind of how it worked with, because we talked about, what was it? Terror of Mechagodzilla from 1975. The fact that that was like the last Godzilla movie until Return of Godzilla in 1984. So there was a 9-year gap there. So like the fact that we got this long break, the fact that these movies just weren't making the money anymore. And like back in the day, you know, even when they weren't making money, they were still like, no, we're going to make another one. We'll make another one.
It's the old wrestling adage. You can't miss you if you don't go away.
Yeah.
So it's like you become a stale act if you don't go away and rebrand yourself and come back. And that's what Godzilla has done numerous times. And every time it's comes back a little different, and we're all excited.
But yeah, this would also be the last Godzilla movie until Shin, where they would use a man in a suit, because they didn't use a man in the suit a lot. I think it's Shin. I think it was only for certain shots, right?
It's
and
like
then
50,
they used
50 basically, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot. It was between CGI, man in suit, and they had like an animatronic for like close-up shots of in Shin Godzilla. But yeah, this was the last time a suit actor was in it throughout, because the legendary movies are like, nah, we're using CGI. This is how it's gonna be. And to be honest,
Welcome to America.
I love the legendary Godzilla look. So, and I think it's just it's cool. I think it would be cool for them to kind of bring a suit like that type of Godzilla movie back. But I just think I don't think it's going to get an audience. Unless you're like the diehard Godzilla fan who's just like, you know, accustomed to that and love that.
I think -1 did a really good job of like, okay, they're going to use CG, but we're going to make it look like it's a guy in a suit.
Yes. So the way he walks and yeah,
exactly. And I think that's fine. I think that satisfies everyone, because you get best of both worlds. You get it to look polished because you're animating it, but at the same time, that because of the design, it looks like a guy in a suit, so it appeases all the old heads. So
yep. So yeah, this was the director pretty much. He didn't like prior Godzilla movies. He wasn't a big fan of the Heisei era. He wasn't a fan of the Millennium movies that had come out prior to this. He literally stated, like, there was a quote I found of his where he's like, those other movies, like, you're not going to go out and tell your girlfriend, hey, did you see the last Godzilla movie? And he's like, I want to make a Godzilla movie where people would ask around and be like, have you seen the last Godzilla movie? He wasn't a fan of that. That's why, like, bringing all of the monsters and having Godzilla fight all these monsters. And this movie is 100% an anime in live action. Like the way that like characters are acting and like the movements and everything, it just feels like this is an anime brought to life.
So it's, to me, it's if Super Sentai met Godzilla. So I Super Sentai is, you know what Super Sentai is?
No, it eventually became Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, right. Yeah. So this feels like, to me, in that same world, like you take all those mutants and you put suits on them, and then they're Sentai Rangers. Yeah. So like this to me feels very much like they crossed over Kamen Rider, Sentai, that whole world and feel, and they were like, oh, we're gonna drop Godzilla and all of his enemies into that world. Because that's basically what the Kamen Rider story is basically what this story is without Godzilla.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the aliens and coming to Earth, it literally is that story. So like, that's why I was like, this is only the second time I've watched it, but I was like rewatching this movie. I was like, this is straight up Kamen Rider. It's like, and then Godzilla's in the background.
Yeah, it just was such a departure from what we've seen before, at least from what I've seen of this franchise. Just seeing what is going on in this movie, I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, it's just insane, and it does not let off the pedal at all for this full 2 hours. It is like pedal to the floor. Things are happening at every moment. There's no like lull period where it's just like, even when people are having conversations, it just seems so intense. Like, you're just like, what? Like, it's just like two characters are just having a normal conversation, but it's just like everything is just, it's shaking, or like the way they talk to each other. It's just so, zoom in, a lot of zooms, and just the way they're talking to each other. And I know, like, you know, the Japanese language is very, like, sometimes it can sound very aggressive when when they're just having a normal conversation. And so, but it's like, it's just like brought up to, like, no, we're going to go from a 5 now. We're bringing it to an 11. Like, this conversation here is going to sound like things are about to go down. And they do, because this movie is just, let's throw almost every monster Godzilla's fought throughout at the time, it's 50-year history, and just have him fight them. Even the ones he never fought. Like, hey, remember that one from 98? That Godzilla no one likes? We're going to throw that in there, too. And he's going to look awful. Was random as That's going to look awful. They did it on purpose. They made her look terrible.
Oh, yeah, and they made her weaker and smaller, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they pretty much stated it's not the same. I mean, technically it dies at the end of 98, so this is not the same one from 98. But I guess the guy who Topless, the guy who created the design for this Godzilla, went to the premiere of this movie and saw what they did with Zilla and actually loved it. Like, he was just honored that his creation made it into an actual Toho Godzilla movie. So, like,
yeah, I would be too. I'd be like, I don't give a shit what you do. I'm here.
Listen, yeah, people can hate Zilla all they want, but I actually, the Godzilla at itself wasn't my problem with that movie. There's a lot of other problems with that movie. I've always loved a lot. There's a lot. And we have a 3.5 hour episode about that movie. And till this day, and I will, till the day I die, will always defend how much fun I have watching that movie every time.
So I'm going to say this: if they would have called that movie anything else but Godzilla, I think I might have enjoyed it a little more. But it's not a Godzilla movie. That's the thing, is that, and that character is not Godzilla. So it's like, that's the problem. If it's just a giant badass lizard destroying the town, then I'm here for it. Just don't call it Godzilla when it's not Godzilla.
Well, you can blame Roland Emmerich for that.
I can blame him for a lot of things.
Not for Independence Day. I love Independence Day.
No, Independence Day I will back all day.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, well, I'm going to skim through some facts while we're actually talking about the plot, but let's hop into the plot of Godzilla Final Wars.
All right, Paul, so I think it's time we, made a trailer.
Do we have to?
Like, people keep asking, so we're going to deliver.
Well, what are we supposed to do in this damn trailer?
We're just going to talk about shit we do here. We theme our months, right? Like, what do we...
I mean, I know we've done stuff like musicals and animation month and creature features, all sorts of stuff, but is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's something kind of like that. Then I'm probably going to sit there and tell people, we're on all social medias. We're on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and it's all under Flicks and Friends podcast.
Yeah, I guess so, if they're not tired of hearing that by now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that'll work. Should we press record?
Yeah, let's press record right now.
Oh, you know how to do this. You can join in this time. You ready, Angela?
Yeah, you have to. You have to, because we need 3 people.
It's time to dissect
that
film. The movie starts with an awesome new Godzilla theme. And I went, I'm actually down for this. This rules. It's the classic theme, but then they add like this awesome like rock beat or like techno beat at the end of it, and you're like, oh shit, what is about to happen?
So did you see who helped score this movie?
Yes. Sum 41.
Well, hold up. So they do the theme. No, I'm talking about who helped score this. It's Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. is one of the composers for this movie, and the only reason he's helped compose is because the other two composers, I think maybe the director, were fans of ELP, and ELP were doing a tour in Japan and went and saw them and asked him to come help compose this. But yeah, Sum 41 does a badass fight song.
I literally was watching the credits. I just saw Sum 41 and I went, all right, here we are. We're here.
And you can hear it too. Like, as soon as it comes up, you're like, well, there they are. There they are.
Oh, yeah.
We're in the South Pole, and there's just a flying drill submarine. And they're in the middle of a fight with Godzilla. And Godzilla looks cool. I like the design of this Godzilla. He's not moving, though. He just stands there and just kind of fights this flying drill. And it's always... There's always the shot of Godzilla, then it would turn back to the crew inside the sub, then it would turn back to Godzilla. And it just kept doing that. And it's like one of those intense like zoom ins on the captain and everything that's going on. And they end up blasting Godzilla into an icy crevasse. And he then freezes. And yep, we'll see you halfway through the movie, Godzilla. See you later.
Yes.
We then get a breakdown of kind of what's going on Earth because all of the monsters showing up all the time and the fact that Godzilla just keeps showing up randomly. They have a Earth Defense Force, and then they have another thing called the M Organization. Now, are these enemies? Is that what they're trying to tell you? Like they're like against each other, or is it just two? Well, the M Organization is the mutants, right?
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is like the Avengers and then S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I guess it'd be a good equivalent to say what this is.
Like, all right, here we go. Then we get an awesome Godzilla history montage where it just shows us clips of pretty much Godzilla in every movie he's been in up until this point. So this was Godzilla's 50th, the 50th anniversary movie. I love that Toho was just like, yeah, we have to put out a Godzilla movie for every anniversary. I don't know, what did one come out in the 90s before? No, I don't think anything came out in the 90s, right? What came out in the 90s
not
for
till
Godzilla?
late, not till late, because Godzilla 2000 is 99, correct?
Well, what was the last Godzilla movie before 98?
Biollante was in the 90s, is it not? Early 90s?
Yeah, I think that was 93. Or no, that was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. So 92? Because I think it was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah 91, Biollante in 92.
Godzilla versus Mothra in 92, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2
in 93.
In 93.
Destroya is 95.
Yeah, Space Godzilla is 94.
Golly, they released a Godzilla movie every year from 91 to 95.
Yep.
Wow. All right.
And then took a 4-year hiatus to do 2000, which came out in 99.
Yes.
And nobody liked.
Yes. Listen, it's like when you buy a sports game, you know, it's like Madden 25, but it comes out in 2024.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then I saw Sum 41, and I went, Sum 41 question mark?
Oh, no, I knew they were in this.
I did not.
This whole opening was like, I hope you don't have epilepsy.
Oh my
it's a lot.
goodness.
Because there was a lot of flashing, and I'm sitting here like, I've watched this before, and I'm like, what is going on?
The explosions were crazy, like when they would show inside the ship. And, you know, it's like like when you're watching Star Trek or Star Wars, when like they're inside of a ship and things are going, like everything's sparking and stuff because, you know, they're fighting. Yeah. And we get the title card. Godzilla Final Wars. We are off the coast of Normandy, and we get a sub being commanded by, what was his name? Captain Gordon. Mustache man. He looked like
Don Fry. He's the man.
Yeah, he's a former UFC fighter.
Yep.
He looks like Jesse Ventura. He looks just like him. I thought it was him. I was like, is Jesse Ventura in a fucking Godzilla movie? Goddamn.
With hair,
no.
though.
Yeah, with hair is true. Well, he was wearing that hat until he took it off halfway through. But yeah, they're getting attacked by a sea dragon called Manda or Manda.
Yep.
Never heard of this. Was this a Godzilla enemy?
It's from the 1963 movie Atragon.
Okay. So this is when you get the really intense, every time some action happens on the submarine, they got to be like the most intense thing. Like it's super robotic where it's like, okay, we got to do like laser. We got to use this laser and destroy this thing. And so the guy gets in there and he's just like, and like either puts on the helmet or takes it off in order to use this laser and then blast this thing.
But then you've got Don Fry. He's just sitting there. Everything's going on around him, and he's just sitting there like nothing is happening.
He just turns in his chair. He's like,
yeah, things are blown up. And then you get like after the creature is destroyed, the thing pops up on the person pops up on the screen. They're just like, you need to come back immediately. You're about to be court-martialed. He's just like, fuck your court-martial. I'm like, this guy fucking rules, man.
So you guys watched it in Japanese, right?
Yeah.
So this time I watched it in English, and it just always blows my mind that when an American character is in or American actor is in these movies, and then they have to dub their own spells.
Oh Lord, it's the worst.
Every time.
I don't understand. I mean, I get it to a degree because I know with like older movies they had to do it a lot because they didn't do on-set audio, so they just had audio from when they were filming, but it wasn't clear enough, so they would have to go back and they would have to redub.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I just like if the guy could
do that in
English,
2004.
No.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's still funny. So, yeah, my note. So I haven't watched this in about a week, and so some of my notes you're gonna have to help me decipher. I literally just put, what the fuck is this fight? Is it like two people fighting? Is it these two guys fighting? I think it's the two guys that are on the ship.
Yeah.
That were
They're
on that guy's ship.
In the training, yeah. They're in the training, like, what is it? What's the X-Men danger room, whatever? They're in the danger room.
The war room, yeah. I was just like, okay, yeah, they're doing like crazy flips and all this stuff. And then like people just start like swarming this top level. And they're all just like standing there watching.
Is this right before or right after they basically give us a commercial for the M Warriors?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like a full-on like infomercial about the M Warriors or whatever, the M Soldiers.
The M Organization.
Coming Saturday mornings on Kids WB.
But yeah, you find out this is the training and these guys are mutants. I'm like, okay. And you get this whole thing where like the one, yeah, pretty much it is.
Chun, 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 chun.
Hey, we get X-Men characters later on too. Just saying.
Well, that's the thing. You get the one guy who is like the character we follow the most. He's not just about hurting people. He wants to like protect and is like, no, we're born to fight, not defend. Because you got the other guy who's like, they're like the opposite of each other. You're like, okay, I've seen that many, many movies. Then we're in a room with a mummified monster. It's Gigan, if you couldn't tell. And, but yeah, he's been mummified. And I was like, that's not how mummification works. You just say if he's just covered in rock. He's petrified. Or cremated. Not cremated. Cremated. Where it's like, kind of like natural cement like grows off of them. I don't know. I was watching a show today and they were talking about that. Yeah. So we're hanging out with a doctor and he thinks it's going to be like some old dude. Turns out to be a hot chick. She's smarter than him. And I love this. The whole thing's like, oh, I didn't realize you were going to be a woman and you're going to be attractive. I don't know if is this right? I'm like, 2004. Wow. We're still here, guys.
We're still doing this.
We're still doing this.
I'm here to tell you it's 2024. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And it's just going to get worse.
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast for a different day, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. So there's a cyborg monster. It's the Gigan, but you find out that it's now like a cyborg. And the doctor's talking about the fact that like the cyborg monster is closely related to you guys, you mutants. And the mutants like, no, how can we be closely related to that giant creature? And it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, I did science stuff and I figured it out. Like, I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
But like, but look how cool he is and how big he is and pointy. I'm not pointy. I want to be pointy.
He doesn't get pointy later.
So
he gets drilly.
Hey, I love it. He's just like he's got removable hands. He's like, I have regular hands. Now I have saw hands.
He's chainsaws.
Yeah. And I love the noise. Oh, we'll get to that. That's I love it. It's so good.
He's got to go to the pit.
Hey, you mind cutting some logs for me? It's getting cold in here. We gotta put on the fire. They get teleported to Infant Island, the home of Mothra, and we get new Mothra twins. They got the short, like, bobbed hair. You only see them. They're really in this movie for about this scene. They might show up again. I don't remember.
They come back one more time later.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's I think less time than this scene.
But pretty much what they tell the main guy, is it Shinichi Osaki? Is that our main guy here that we're following? Again,
Greg.
I have his name written down.
Greg. I think his name is Greg.
His name is Greg. I don't think his name was Greg, dude. Unless that was his name in the English dub.
Hold on. I got it right
Osaki.
I got it right here. Samsonite. I was way off. I knew it started with an S.
Are you just naming
Greg?
What the hell? Do you have just a list of names? It must be Phil. I think it was Phil. I think that was his name.
Look, the S is silent.
Nuclear. Yes, silent.
Oh my goodness. So they tell them that the creature they have is Gigan, and he's very dangerous. And they also tell the guy there, Ozaki, that he's got evil in his blood. He's gonna be just like Gigan. And it's like, yeah, all right. And he looks intense all the time, so I'm like, I could see it. And then
Gigan in him.
They got to get some sort of amulet. All right.
Because of reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in this movie that are just for reasons.
This is 100% anime logic because of reasons. Here's thing, we have to get thing so that thing can happen, and then thing will happen, and then at the end another thing happens because thing happened.
To be honest, I have no idea why they needed this amulet. I literally put Mothra friend, if not evil. Oh, the twins tell him, oh, Mothra will be your friend if you turn out not to be evil. Imagine him just going, okay, I just won't be evil. And they're like, all right, that's good enough for us. Here's Mothra.
And he's like,
we'll go find this. Yeah, go find this amulet. Actually, I think they give it to him. I don't remember. I'm sorry to our listeners who are like, what the fuck is he talking about?
To be fair, you could be actively watching this movie and still be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because this movie is so me and Parker talked about this the other day when we were texting back when I was watching this. This is the second time I've watched this film. The first time I watched it, Milo loved this movie. This is like what got him into Godzilla was this film. And then obviously he went on to better Godzilla films, but he still has an affinity for this movie. And he also loves Power Rangers too. So this is like not surprising why he loves this movie. But we were talking about how like they literally took everything you could think of, like the craziest Godzilla ideas that have ever existed, and just threw them all out of fucking board and all out of wall. And they said, and they go, which one of these do we want to do? They said, which one? Why not all of them?
I mean, that was what that was the director's whole point. He's just like, I want people to have fun watching my movie. Does it need to make sense? No.
Good.
Do you want to see monsters fight each other for the majority of the movie? Yes, we do. And to be honest, I'm gonna say it right now. This movie fucking rules because of the monster fights. There's so many of them, and it's not even the fact of just seeing Godzilla. Yeah.
Once you get,
even some of the human stuff, which is usually the shit that I just don't care about in these. It's not even just Godzilla movies; it's monster movies as a whole. I feel like a lot of monster movies just did not know how to write good human stories along with the monsters. And the funniest thing is that is people's biggest complaints about the legendary movies is like the human characters suck. The human characters. I'm like, yeah, but that's been a fucking thing forever, man. I've been watching a lot of Godzilla movies lately. The human character, I could give two fucks about a lot of the human characters in these Godzilla movies. I don't care. The only ones that really, I feel like the only ones that really struck a chord or they wrote them well was the original, because that was such a darker movie. And of course, -1, I thought had one of the best human stories.
It's like a reboot.
Exactly.
But yeah, so what you're saying is monster movies and porns are very much the same. No one cares about the characters. They just want to see the action, and you want to see the monster.
Yes, so I want to see the monster do things.
He's talking about dinglings, people. That's what he's talking about, dinglings.
Glad Angela didn't see that motion. I'm very embarrassed.
Sorry, it's the next scene.
She was doing research.
Yes, because you were talking about human characters, and it's the next scene after this when they meet Rodan.
Oh my goodness! So
when they're in America? Is this when they're in America?
So they have to be, because it's the two black guys that are drinking.
So I want to bring this up too. I'm glad you brought this up, because it reminds me, because what you guys talked about this in your last episode. You talked about, like, I don't know what it is, but they just they have to go out and find American tourists that happen to be walking on the street and go, "Do you want to be in a Godzilla movie?" They're like, "Okay." Then they hold up cue cards and just go, "Read these lines." All right, that's a wrap, and then they walk off the fucking set, because they
don't even know who Godzilla is. They're just like, movie, yeah.
If I had that opportunity, I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd be like, yes, I'll be whatever you want me to be.
Dude, I'd be overacting like a motherfucker, though.
Oh my goodness. No, but the next scene is we meet the UN secretary, and he was doing an interview. I didn't give a shit about the interview. It was dumb. But we're on his plane. And this is the actor who was in the original. He's been in like 5 or 6 Godzilla movies. He was actually in the original. He was like 19 years old.
Akira Takarada.
Yes. What was his? Why is he not in? Oh yeah, he Natoro Dajo. Yeah, he was the press secretary. But his plane gets destroyed by Rodan. Yeah, Rodan flies by, blows up the plane. Rodan looks cool in this movie. I really like his design.
Rodan looks great.
I mean, this is also, I don't know. When was the last time Rodan was in a movie before this one? Would it have been Godzilla versus
not All Monsters Attack?
Yeah, that makes sense. What was that, 1968?
Yeah. Not, well, hang on.
When was Rodan?
54? No, 50.
No,
56.
He
56.
was in hold please. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, right?
Yep. And he was in, and before that was Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah. So that was 68. All right. Yeah.
So 93 was.
Yeah, because we've covered. Yeah, we've covered almost everything that he's been in, even the legendary version of him, which is a really cool fucking design. They definitely improved.
Underutilized him. Underutilized him in that movie, but yeah,
absolutely. He's still around though. He can come back. So yeah, his plane blows up. Rodan lands in New York City, causes a bunch of destruction, and there was a scene. I think it was with these two dudes. Which the funny fact I found about these guys is that they actually auditioned for each other's roles, and then ended up getting the roles that they got. But when their hats fly off, they had to do this weird like whip or like some weird fucking like goofy ass cartoon noise when their hats
It's like a penny whistle.
Yeah, it literally was. I was like, what the hell was that? That's just so out of place. So all the monsters are active. Anguirus is awake. Anguirus looking cool. I didn't know Anguirus could roll up into a ball and shoot himself around like a freaking... I didn't know he could do that. King Caesar seems a lot bigger in this movie than he was in... Was it Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, they take away his... What is it? Laser eyes? They take away... They depower
because he had the
King Caesar in this movie. Yeah,
because he had like the gem eyes.
Yes,
in his original because this was the first time he was in a movie since being in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla in '74.
So they essentially depower like every monster in here except for Gigan and Ghidorah. Like they pretty much, so basically to make them stand out more, but none of them are nearly as powerful as they were the first time we saw them fight Godzilla.
I don't know. And Anguirus is
special.
Except for Anguirus, you can make this
damage, man. He's like bouncing off of things and like hitting helicopters in midair, and I'm like, all right, this is crazy.
But he gets kicked like a soccer ball. He's
oh yeah, we'll get to that. I know Dan has mentioned that part before. Zilla 2 is in Sydney. I'm like, okay. And
so you missed Kamakarus.
Who?
Kamakarus.
Is that the spider? Or is that the praying mantis?
That's the praying mantis.
Okay. I just put big ass fly, and then because when they introduced this character in this movie, it didn't look like a praying mantis at first. I thought it was a big ass fly. I just was like, what is this thing? And then later scenes, I was like, oh, it's a praying mantis. Oh.
So this one appeared first in Son of Godzilla, which is where Minya comes from.
Yeah,
Minya sucks.
A character who is in this movie for no fucking reason. No reason other than the fact
except the final shot where to get that shot with the kid. That was it.
That
could be there. It still was so.
No, it didn't. No.
Hey, remember? We'll get to it in my notes. I literally have in my notes. Hey, remember? Manila's here, guys. You remember? He's still here. That's literally my notes.
I like when he gets his Rita Repulsa moment though later. Yeah. My monster grow.
Yes.
Like whoa. So
Dan wanted me to mention that the kid that's playing with all the toys, the toy that he throws into the fireplace, is Gamera.
Yep.
He's like, make sure you say that.
He said, I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know what else he's playing with. He has a lot of toys.
He's playing with pretty much like most of the villain or most of the monsters that you're seeing in the movie.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a big old fuck you to Gamera. Fuck off, man.
Yeah,
cool.
Don't throw him in.
We need a Godzilla versus Gamera movie. Why has that never happened?
I think because Godzilla is such a money maker, and their Toho's, especially in the last 25 years, have been very close to the vest with how they want him to be used. Same way Nintendo is with all their properties, and why we don't see live action Nintendo movies ever. It's just because
do you remember 1993?
Exactly. And that's similar with this. It's like if this is one of the last things you see for fucking 10 years, I could see them going, yup, we're going to make sure we get something good out.
Do you remember Street Fighter? Do you remember Double Dragon? Yes.
Actually, Nintendo properties have only, until Detective Pikachu came out, only had one live action adaptation. That was Super Mario Brothers.
Yep. Yeah, because Street Fighter and they weren't Nintendo,
Capcom.
But
Street Fighter's Capcom. Double Dragon is Konami, I'm pretty sure.
One is fine. The other is dookie.
I'll let you decide which one's which. The choice is yours.
What's the name of the spider?
I have it.
What is it?
It's from Lord of the Rings. I said Sheila.
Hold, please. I have it written down.
What's the one from Harry Potter?
Oh, no.
Shit. Now you're going to... He's an acromantula. I know that. Now you're going to make me...
It's Greg. It's Greg.
It's Greg.
It's Greg. It's so Greg.
Apparently, I didn't write it down.
That's okay. So yeah, Anguirus, I love it. I love seeing Anguirus. Well, I mean, you keep looking while I'm talking.
Aragog is Harry Potter.
Aragog is the Harry Potter one, yeah. But Anguirus is bouncing around all over the place. He's rolling away. I just put Baby G is on Mount Fuji, and I'm like, oh great, this guy's here.
Kumonga.
Okay. Yeah, which shows up in King of the Monsters at the end of King of the Monsters. And then we never see it again.
I knew I wrote it down somewhere.
We get the flying mantis. We got the crab. Yes, all you Godzilla fans can yell at me for just saying it that way instead of his actual names. I didn't write them down. We then get intense suit ups from our mutant people. I'm like, oh boy, is this Batman and Robin all over again? Or just like, just close up shots of them getting dressed.
Oh, dude, this is Sailor Moon. This is Sailor Moon transportation. Not like real talk. It's a Sailor Moon transformation.
I mean, we did talk about how this is an anime in real life. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean, that the Sailor Moon animation, like far as their transformation, has been reused in anime and in live action. That's what Sentai uses, Kamen Rider uses.
Yeah,
and they've reused it in every fucking anime that has power ups, and even in modern animation, in live action stuff like this. That's just odes to that animation. It's 100% fucking magical girl animation.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, you get the whole thing where they fight the crab. Wait, what's the crab's name again?
Ebra.
It is lobster.
Oh, Ebra. Okay. It's a lobster. Sorry.
Yeah.
Greg.
Greg. So yeah, they fight Greg.
Everybody's name is Greg.
Yeah.
Greg S. Lobster. Esquire.
Yeah. So yeah, they're fighting Ebra, and they end up killing it. And it, like, they cut off one of the claws, and it like crashes down. And you got to get the corny ass line where he's like, "Sorry, I'm a vegetarian." And then it vanishes, great. And they're like, "Where'd it go?" And then they notice that all the monsters around the world are vanishing, and there's like, "Huh?" So we get a massive ship that like lands over the EDF headquarters, and the UN secretary is alive. Oh!
Question mark?
I literally had that. UN secretary? Question mark? Aliens?
This is the scrolls.
Yeah. There's aliens in this movie? I wonder if a certain monster is going to be in this. No, he's not. Mechagodzilla is not in this movie. So you love Godzilla movies where there's dudes who just wear shades all the time. It's like, sunglasses make me cool. I'm never taking them off, no matter where I am, how dark it is. They come off as friendly. They're the yeah, you can't take them off or just laser shoot out of his eyes. They are the Zynans. What did I say before? Zynians? Zillions. I forgot the L. Like, that's not what I said before.
Gregians.
So they come up with this warning. They're like, hey, so there's a planet that's kind of like coming towards your planet pretty fast, and if we don't do something, it's going to hit your planet and everyone's going to die. So we're going to help you fix that. And they're like, all right, cool. So they completely say, fuck the UN, getting rid of that. Now we have the UU, the United Universe.
The UU Hakusho.
Yeah, United Universe or Space Nations. And people are just loving the aliens, man. They're just like, yeah, they got like merch and shit. I'm just like, what?
It's like an Independence Day. It's like an Independence Day.
They've been here for like 3 days. Yay!
Beam us up. Probe us, King.
And then we get this interview with this dude who's just named X. Doesn't go anywhere other than the fact is like, yeah, man, this is just who I am now. I'm not Phil anymore. I'm X.
You might have heard my brother, Greg.
Greg or Craig.
Greg or Craig.
Craig Christ. Have you ever heard that song?
No.
I'm gonna have to make a shirt or something that just says Greg.
And you have to have a monster on there. It's
yes.
It's a monster.
It's like a derpy version of Godzilla. Just
yeah, you got to make sure it's not copyright. You can't, so we don't get.
No, it's got it's got to be Ebera. Like that's correct.
Oh, I could make. I can
just
make
put
it.
a lobster.
Yeah, just put
no
a
one
lobster.
knows but us. No one knows but us. Is it the crab dance? Do you remember the crab dance song that was super popular?
Yes.
Crab rave?
Yes. The crab rave. That's it. Oh, man. Oh, and that's
I still love it.
Stuck in my head. Oh, it's so good. So they're very suspicious of the press secretary. They're like, it's kind of weird that he kind of just disappeared and then just reappeared again. And then they're like, has anyone noticed that he hasn't blinked? Like, he doesn't blink? And they're like, oh, man, we probably should investigate that. So while they're trying to investigate the fact that the UN press secretary might not be who he says he is, some dude just tries to walk up and kill him. Just tries to assassinate him right there and then gets taken out. And, but they are able to get blood from him because he actually gets like attacked. He starts to bleed and they are able to get blood from him and to test. And it's so dramatic and it's so great about these movies is the fact that every time something happens, it's over dramatic. Like it's never just like, hey, we tested his blood. He's not human. It's like, we tested his blood. You're right. He's not human. I'm like, what? Bring it down a notch. Just a little bit.
Chill, buddy. He's like, this could all have been in an email.
Oh yeah, they find out he's not human. He's Zillion. You're like, whoa! Probably could have figured that out earlier.
They're like, what? What's that again?
Yeah. Oh wait, that's who they are. Oh, sorry. We only heard it one time, so
you got that one guy who clearly wasn't paying attention in the meeting. He's like, "Oh, zillions, yeah, totally a zillion, dude. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is a zillion?" I'm gonna go ask Greg.
Oh, Greg, he's so reliable. Oh man,
he'll never let us down.
He'll never let us down, Greg. The name of this episode is going to be Godzilla Final Wars, a.k.a. Greg.
Gregzilla Final Wars.
Shoot, I can find a derpy Godzilla. Just saying.
There's probably
They're out
plenty
there.
of pictures. There's probably plenty of pictures of that. So the Zillions set off the monsters that got taken away. And they're like, oh, yeah, guess what? We're not nice. We're actually evil. We're going to take over your planet. There's no planet coming towards you either.
It's a speed race.
Laugh. Oh, man. And they're like, oh, shit, we gotta find some way to stop these guys. Let's go get Mustache Man. And what do? They go get Mustache Man. That's his name for the rest of this movie. Gordon. He's not Captain Gordon. He's fucking... That man has the meanest mustache I've ever seen. It is perfectly sculpted. I don't even know if it's real, but it's beautiful.
It's got to be real. I refuse to believe it's not real.
Yeah. If I ever get the opportunity to speak with this man.
He has, in his picture on IMDb, he has got a stash.
Okay, good.
I believe it, yeah.
I don't want to live in a world where that stash isn't real.
It's perfect.
It's glorious.
Very.
So they trick the EDF heads and then they kill them. So pretty much everyone who is part of the EDF are Zillions. So they're like,
this is the solution for everything. They're like, we don't know what to do with these people. Kill them. Next scene.
And then you get the whole thing with the reporter there's like a press conference and it's like the UN press secretary and then the two Zillion generals or whatever. And the reporter's like, oh, I brought your dog. Do you remember your dog's name? And he's like, oh my God, this shit. I can't even remember what the dog's name was, but it's a callback to something that happened earlier because this same reporter interviewed the real press secretary in that interview that I didn't give a shit about. But I do remember the fact that she does ask, like, you know, what do you do when you're not doing, you know, having to worry about all the shit you have to worry about? Yeah. And he's like, oh, I love just hanging out with my dog. I can't remember what the dog's name was. He's adorable, though.
I have an idea on his name, what his name might be.
It might be
It might be Greg.
Oh, all the Gregs that are listening to this episode are like, fuck.
Damn.
Leave my name alone.
It's my time. My time to shine.
This movie's about me.
They're talking about me. We sure are, Greg. We're talking about you.
We love you. We love you, Greg. Oh, God. So, yeah, she tricks him because he doesn't know his dog's name. And you find out that he is also a Zillion. And then this thing happens where I went,
him, not the dog. Him, not the dog.
Oh, no, the dog's fine. The dog
is not a Zillion.
No, this dog is a dog. He's a human. Well, he's a Earth dog.
He's a human dog. He's a human dog.
Ah, God, he's experimenting. The poor dog. No, he's you find out that the UN press secretary is a Zillion, and like he gets shot and then his head splits open. I went, what the hell is happening?
He had a headache.
Oh my goodness. And then it just hangs on it for a while. Like they're
a splitting headache.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm watching Scanners or something. So the new alien, so pretty much the UN press secretary gets killed, the other guy gets killed, so now it's like the young dude becomes like the leader of the Zillions, and he sucks.
He's psycho.
He's insane. He pretty much is like, yeah, I'm wiping all of you fuckers out. And then he has some sort of power that like hurts the mutants, but then like turns them on the humans. So he has some sort of like manipulation power. Gigan is awakened. Actually, wait, before that. There's the brain. They brainwashes him, and then the general sacrifices himself. One of the guys who was part of this group. He's like, I got this, and he fights all the mutants, and then it's like that shot where he just gets consumed by them all. You're like, R.I.P. man.
And you just see his face in all of them. He's
like remember me.
It's like a zombie attack. It's like,
yeah.
Yep.
Choke on it. We then get a bike fight. And I just reminded me of the highway chase scene in The Matrix Reloaded. I think it was.
Reminds me of the at the end of disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII.
Okay. That's been a long time since I played that game.
Big bike fight at the end, then you fight a big boss at the end of this cut off of this highway.
Yeah. It's a fight between
just what I think of. No big deal. It's just what I think of.
No, it's that bike fight where it shows a lot of like close-ups of the riders, so that you could be like, they're not actually riding their bikes. It's just like,
yep. Oh yeah,
absolutely. Moving their heads around.
Green screen right behind.
Yeah, but then they actually show people like riding bikes, but it's like one of those just super intense like fast motion fights where it's like whoosh, 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 and crazy things are happening. The good guy wins. Ozaki. Gigan is awakened, as are all the other monsters. We're like, sweet monster fights. Here we go. Super pumped. Destruction all over the world.
The Godzilla movie starts now.
Yes. And this is my first instinct of my next note is, oh, yes, guys, Manila's still here. Yay. So of course, all the monsters are all over the world. What do we need to do, guys? We gotta wake up Godzilla, even though we fucking had to kill him before. Because he's the only one who is going to be able to stop all these monsters. So, there's the mutant base is gone. And the captain or mustache man, he pretty much was like, yeah, I was on that sub that sent Godzilla to his frozen tomb there.
He was a young lad then.
Yeah, I love how it does a flashback and it just shows a dude. It's like, that was him, guys. He didn't have the mustache.
He had no mustache.
So they give there's all my notes says is, here's a camera, Osaki. And I went, what? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Did he get a camera? Did I miss something? Fuck. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna move on from that note. Because
he's seeing things like words.
Was he having like visions?
No, it's the civilization. Like he's having to look at it. It doesn't even. It could have been cut out. Like
okay, well, clearly my note. I can't remember what it is. There's also another woman with the doctor that we met earlier. There's another woman. I don't know who she is. But she has the hots for Mustache Man. She wants a mustache ride.
It's the other girl's sister.
Bad.
It's the other girl.
Right. Because we do get a meetup scene with them, and the Osaki is rude as fuck throughout that conversation. But yeah, she wants them fucking Captain bad, man. She saw that mustache. She went.
Yep.
Later.
She goes, I want a ticket to ride.
We're going to dinner later.
Guess what, guys? This is when we get the title of the movie where they're like, we got to do Operation Final War.
Final War.
Whoa. And the general who sacrificed himself, guess what, guys? He's not dead. He's alive. He made it out of there.
He did not die.
Oh, man. So then we go to Area G. I wonder who's here. It's in the North Pole. Weren't we in the South Pole in the beginning of the movie when he got sent to the crevice? Now, why are we at the North Pole? Did I just misread the caption?
It's a pole.
Too many questions. Oh, it's a pole, all right.
Stop asking questions.
It's one of the poles.
He's just up there dancing.
The guys...
Can he got work?
The guy's running this station... hilarious. Okay.
So I wanted to say
one's wearing a mesh shirt, by the way. Just
so Legendary totally took this scene for
XCOM.
and I know that because they have the same outpost, same reactions and everything. I was like, this has got to be an ode to this movie.
Oh, are you talking about King of the Monsters when they wake up Ghidorah?
I want to say it's in the most recent, isn't it? In the most recent,
so it's XCOM.
Yeah, when they're in the
Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth.
The one base.
Yeah, very much same vibes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the outfits these dudes got on, like the dude with the mesh shirt. I was like, good for you, dude. You're just enjoying yourself. You're like, I got to take advantage of this opportunity of being in the North-South Pole.
We're fresh off post 9/11. People are just trying to figure out who they are, man. That's just all.
Right. Hey, I wasn't judging. I just had to make a note of his awesome mesh shirt.
The world is changing, man. Change with it.
Gigan attacks. Gigan looks cool. I like this like cyborg Gigan. Godzilla wakes up. It's kind of not as cool as I was expecting it to be. Like I was expecting it to like the camera to like go down and he's like, you see him in like totally covered in ice and then he kind of like thaws out and like explodes out of it. But instead you just see his atomic breath just shoot out of the ice. And then of course he comes to the surface and then he just blasts the station. Those poor dudes are just doing their job. Godzilla's like, fuck you.
He woke me up from my nap.
Yeah.
Pour a little out for the homies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up from his nap he didn't even ask for.
Yeah. And I want to say that Godzilla in this one looks like an angry cat the whole time.
He does. He kind of does. At least he doesn't have the derpy eyes, though. That was like my biggest complaint about old school Godzilla is like he always had his eyes like, why are they all looking in different directions?
He's got to see both directions.
Yeah, and then like the Gigan fight doesn't last very long. He just blasts Gigan's head right off.
Fucking just
wow. Like it didn't even
like okay, roll credits.
I was like, okay, I guess that's it. We move on to the next one. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is a video game now. It's literally you are Godzilla, and you are now just it's like drop another monster. That's literally all this guy's doing throughout the rest of this movie.
Hey, the Godzilla game I've played was pretty fun.
I mean, this would have been a dope like beat 'em up game. Godzilla versus.
So I have the GameCube Godzilla game, which I have over here. It's basically it's a fighting game, but it's a top-down fighting game. So they drop you in a city, and you destroy cities, but also destroy each other at the same time.
Okay.
So, but it's
I'm
basically
not sure what we played. I'll have to ask Dan, but we've played several Godzilla games. It's fun.
So the director actually directed video games. Like he actually directed the in-game cutscenes for Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, which was the remake of the original Metal Gear Solid for the GameCube. So like he had history with video games, so I feel like he kind of incorporated that into this. I mean, it's very, yeah, there's no hiding it. But yeah, he drops another monster. I don't like that he doesn't swim though. He just walks through the water. He's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just like walking through the ocean, guys. Who fucking cares how deep it is? I'm just going. I'm like, I wish you could just like swim.
It's like that. It's that meme of Godzilla walking the water with the legs that are super
That
long.
are really long. Yes.
How does Godzilla stand in the water? Yeah, and this is when we get the fight with Zilla that lasts a total of 3 seconds because he just tail whips her right into the freaking
Oblivion. Fucking.
It was the Sydney Opera House that he throws her into. It just blows up. That's it.
Bye. That's why previously in the Zencaster attempt, my name was Yeetzilla for the because I would say this Godzilla is Yeetzilla. This dude is straight throwing every motherfucker over mountain. He's fucking Uncle Rico. Yeah. He's fucking Uncle Rico. He said, "What you want to bet I can throw these monsters over them mountains?"
Oh, but yeah, it's just so funny how like the fact it's like they purposely made Zilla look like shit. Like it's the only monster that's CG
and cheap CG.
It's shit. It just looks like ass. And yeah, it just runs at Godzilla, gets tail whipped into the Sydney Opera House, and then it's like, oh, that's it. And then you get the line from the alien leader. He's literally like, useless tuna eater. That's a lot of fish.
But then he blows up the Sydney Opera House, and there's no way for anybody to get out. So.
People are just enjoying the opera. I'm sorry. There's monsters fighting. I'm not there. I'm out. Evacuating.
No, I'm definitely underground or somewhere.
He's out. Godzilla fights the spider. I love this fight because the spider like shoots its web around it, like wraps him, but then Godzilla grabs it, swings it around.
That's see, I knew I had Kumunga somewhere. That's in my
tosses it to another dimension. Like it's one of those things like
yeets her.
It's like Team Rocket blasting off again.
No, I want to know how far he goes from the Sydney Opera House to New Guinea. How far away is that?
Oh, Godzilla is just he's cruising.
And it's night, but it's night and day.
It's far, but probably not as far as you think. Like New Guinea is like right above Australia.
Yeah, it's
but
like
Australia's
night
also
and day,
pretty
though.
big. So yeah, oh, absolutely. But I love how it's got yellow webbing.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool, and I love the whole thing where it like shoots the whole web over Godzilla.
It's a 3-hour flight. A 3-hour flight.
So for Godzilla to
then
walk
what
there,
that's from Brisbane, not from Sydney. So like from Sydney's isn't Sydney in South Australia?
No, Sydney's in West. Or no, East Australia. It's like in the middle. Like East Coast.
From Sydney to Papua New Guinea is 4-hour flight.
He's walking in the water.
But they're real big steps, though.
Yeah, those are big.
Big steps.
And what time did he attack? Because it literally is night.
Oh, shit, I have to get to New Guinea by 9 a.m. Gotta move.
It's not one of those shots that is made to look at night.
Yeah, that's true. I do. So there wasn't a lot of special features on this Blu-ray, but it did have like the one cool thing that had was it would show how a scene was made, and then it would show the scene, which I thought was pretty cool. So like they actually show the behind the scenes of them actually shooting this spider fight and like how they did the webbing and all that. And like literally it's crazy how these movies were made. Like literally they'd shoot like a 3-second scene. It would be like Godzilla slides in, cut. Okay, get him back to position, have him run, slide in, cut. Wild. So yeah, we get the giant mantis that gets impaled. And then oh hey guys. I hope you didn't forget Manila's still here. Didn't want you to forget. Useless sack of shit. Then we get Godzilla versus Anguirus. And you know, this is the first time that they kind of like fight. Probably since what? Since they fought for the first time, right?
In 54, right?
Think so.
Well, in 56, technically.
56, yeah.
Yeah. And then so Godzilla fights Anguirus, Rodan, and King Caesar all at the same time. And this is when we get the soccer scene where Anguirus rolls up into his ball and Godzilla fucking and smokes freaking King Caesar. Just God, so great.
He just thought, and this scene where he's in front of the mountain is the happy birthday card that I always send to Dan every year, because it always says happy birthday, and it's him like back and forth. It's funny.
My favorite is the Godzilla on a surfboard. He's just doing this as he goes by. I don't know what that's from, but it's great. So yeah, we get Anguirus soccer. We got King Caesar. I love that King Caesar's ears go up like a goal when. Oh no! I think Anguirus gets hit into Rodan, and then King Caesar reacts to that situation.
Yeah, because because King Caesar gets impaled on Anguirus, correct? Or gets stacked onto him.
Yeah, they all get like stacked on. Very comedic.
To each other.
Yeah. And then does that say Manila grows? Is this where Manila grows?
Yes. This is the Rita Repulsa moment. Make my monster grow.
Nanny.
He literally basically turns to the kid and is like, watch this.
Yeah.
Listen, watch Son of Godzilla and you will understand Godzilla's. He just, I don't know, detests Minya. Like,
same thing with the 70s cartoon as well.
He hits him to get him to do his stuff, and it still doesn't help.
You useless, son.
Pretty much.
Wrong damn kid died.
Oh no, not Dewey Cox. Oh. So this is when we get a scene ripped right from Independence Day. If they weren't going fuck you Roland Emmerich, they were going fuck you Roland Emmerich, because they literally took a scene from Independence Day and went, we're gonna put it in our Godzilla movie. Because it's the same fucking thing, man. They're like, they go through the ship, it's got the barrier, and then they got to find some way to clear the barrier out, and then they finally get there, and then they got one dude who just blows it up.
I just said he flew into the Death Star, you know.
Oh man. But then the difference is the aliens foil the plan before they can actually blow up the ship. Then Mothra's like, oh yeah, I'm in this movie too. Just shows up. Then Godzilla fights Hedorah, which is, I guess, Hedorah originally wasn't supposed to be in this movie. And then they're like, okay, it can be in this movie, but it's not going to be in it for very long. So that's why it's like a very short fight.
Because originally it was just supposed to be clips, I think.
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah.
Hedorah's awesome.
Well, it's like when you look up directors and like what movies they've done, especially in the Godzilla franchise, and it shows they've directed like 6 movies, but in actuality, they only directed 1, but they gave them directing credits for the other 5 because they used clips from their movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he fights.
No justice for Hedorah.
Yeah, he gets his smoggy ass beat down, and so does
by
the crab.
Lobster.
Or the lobster. My bad. Then you find out that the aliens need human mitochondria to survive. And I went, we're getting really crazy now towards the end of this Godzilla movie when I've just been watching Godzilla slap the shit out of all these monsters. And I was like, oh, yes. So we're here because we're going to feast on the humans because we need their mitochondria. And if we don't get them, we'll die. Like,
We need their
And they need
midichlorians.
them. Yeah, and they need them to reproduce faster.
yes. The midichlorian levels are low.
See what he said, look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. We haven't been able to get it up for quite some time now. These are our boner pills, right? So
Help.
Zillion Blue Chew is mitochondria.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I was just about to say that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
This, by the way, this episode of Dissect That Film is brought to you by Zillion Blue Chew.
Oh.
They said, hey, space guys, are you having troubles getting it up?
Hey, listen, Ghidorah takes care of that later. Just saying.
Does he get the guck on?
Did you not see the same scene I saw?
We'll get to it. So we find out another bombshell that the mutants and the Zillions are related. So the mutants weren't just related to Gigan; they're related to the Zillions because the Zillions ended up building Gigan. So it's like that's why.
Which, by the way, that storyline is, I know this is, but that storyline is straight up ripped off from Marvel Comics. So that is the story of the Inhumans. So not the Skrulls, but the blue ones. Anyway, they came to Earth and created the Inhumans and left them on Earth to basically what originally was to conquer Earth so that they could come back and create a perfect race, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's the same exact story, which is from like the 70s.
All right, I did not know that. But yeah, the Zillions are telepathic, and and because of that, they can control the monsters. And then we get introduced to a Kaiser, which is a human alien hybrid, and you find out that the alien leader is also a Kaiser. So that means he is very powerful. Mothra shows up to save G, and then Gigan's back with his head. Like, yeah, I'm not dead. And then there's another monster that shows up, and I just put, who's this other monster? It's because it's Ghidorah, but it's the Ghidorah.
But it's Monster X.
It's Monster X. Or Mecha fucking Ghidorah. I was like, is this their... no joke, because this is the first time I've seen this movie.
Ghidorah.
I legit thought this was this movie's version of Mecha Godzilla until it turns into Ghidorah.
Well, you can tell it has the three kind of like...
That's where I was confused. I was like, is this... What? Okay. And so when it got revealed it was Ghidorah, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not that surprised.
It's Kaiser Ghidorah.
Kaiser Ghidorah. Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. The most awesome Ghidorah.
Do you have a figure of that
Caesar, which means Caesar Ghidorah.
I do not, because at the time when I was looking for them, they were stupid expensive. Like $300 for... I was like, hell no, I'm not paying that. Now they're not as expensive.
I did think the naming here was redundant. Like I said, because Kaiser is German for Caesar. And we already have King Caesar in this series.
Yeah.
So this is literally Caesar Ghidorah. So that's literally what it means.
He needs to be fuzzy and have ears.
Oh, yeah, have big bad ears.
Yeah.
And all three heads have jewel eyes.
Except for Kevin. Poor Kevin.
So Azaki and the alien leader fight, and the alien leader is a lot stronger than Ozaki, so he gets kind of beat down. And then a shiny cross wakes him up. All right. Here's another thing that we're doing. Gigan gets decapitated again. And
okay, so he gets decapitated by his own little...
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
But he sends out like saw blades.
Yes.
I said he went Wild Wild West on his own self.
Oh, Wild Wild West. Who thought we would have put in
Hey,
a wild
he's the one
west?
that sends the flying
The saws, yeah,
saw blades.
and it got
Yeah.
the collars, yeah.
Yes.
One day we'll cover that fucking masterpiece. This when Mothra shows up, gets set on fire. This shot is badass. Fiery Mothra just towards the camera. Great, loved it. And she fully destroys Gigan. Osaki has powers now, and they fight. And this is more of an equal fight now.
So this is Dragon Ball. So he is dude, it's the story of Dragon Ball where they he's a Saiyan, right, sent from a planet down here and he turns out to be the Super Saiyan. He's the chosen one. He's the one that's super powered to fight this bad guy who's also a Super Saiyan, Vegeta. So this is literally the Saiyan arc in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh.
They just cut his tail off and he's good to go.
There you go.
I'm glad you're bringing all these references because I would have never brought these to the table. I was like, oh, fuck it. It's an anime. This movie is just an anime.
Exactly. I mean, you're dead on.
Up.
Oh man.
Like I got Ultraman vibes from some of this too.
Oh,
so
big time,
it's like,
big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
So like you get those vibes from certain scenes.
Yeah, we should have gotten the Godzilla Ultraman ripoff.
Oh,
Jet
heck yeah.
Jaguar.
Hell yeah. Hey, he needs to show up.
Jet Jaguar needs to. We need We need a modern Jet Jaguar.
It's crazy that he only showed up for one movie.
He's too cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, because his design is very similar to Ultraman. I wonder if maybe there was some licensing,
like a
issues
tiff or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you can keep talking about Jet Jaguar. Like we're not going to erase him from history, but yeah, no more. You can't make any more things.
You can't. You can't put him back on there.
Mustache Man is the fucking man. Like he is the man. This dude is just kicking ass, taking names. You think he's gonna die? He's like, nah, I'm not gonna fucking die. I'm
not with that mustache.
And the whole thing where he fights the female alien, and then he has the fist up. She's like, "Are you gonna hit a lady?" And then he opens up his hand and just fucking slaps her.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh my god.
It's not funny, but that scene was funny. Okay? It's not funny to slap women, but that scene was funny. Just the fact that he goes from the fist to the hand.
It's like
he's Sean Connery, sir.
Miss O'Neill, the Shredder has a message, and he opens up his head.
Yes.
Oh man. So Asaki kicks the alien man's ass, kills him, and then I guess killing him causes the ship to self-destruct. And they escape the ship before it fully explodes, of course. And then King Ghidorah shows up, or Kaiser Ghidorah. And it is able to like bite down on Godzilla and like absorb his energy, which they redo. I know that's a common thing though with Ghidorah, right? Like that is able to like latch on to Godzilla and absorb his energy.
See, this is where the blue chew comes in. He's sucking on Godzilla.
Well, he does this. They also do this in King of the Monsters.
Yes,
and that's where like Godzilla has to be saved by Mothra.
He's supposed to be the perfect foil, like the perfect foil for Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's the antithesis. He's the Yellow Lantern to the Green Lantern. Like they are opposites of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they like feed off each other, sort of.
So because Osaki is a mutant and he has powers and he's part alien or whatever, he's able to like shoot his energy into Godzilla while he's getting his. Sure.
That Kaiser Blue, the Zillion Blue Chew.
And then once Godzilla.
Which, by the way, hold on, it reminds me, guys. Again, this episode is brought to you by Zillion Blue Chew. Do you need to shoot your beam into a giant monster? Well, we've got the answer for you.
Yep.
Zillion Blue Chew. Just use promo code Dissect That Film. ZillionBlueChew.com.
It helps that it's blue too.
Hopefully the real Blue Chew doesn't like ever find out about this. And
No, this one's spelled BLOOCHOO.
it's BLEW.
Yeah.
Blue Chew.
It's Blow Chew. But yeah, he gets his energy back and he tosses Ghidorah around and then blows it up in space. Bye.
He whips him around. He does the hammer throw like in track and field. He takes him, swings him around. Woo! Yep.
Team Rocket blasting off again.
Hey, he got a world record for that one.
Godzilla's the Trunchbull from Mattel.
Yes.
Oh man, the behind the scenes of that scene are fucking great. How they were able to accomplish that shot. So when we talk about Matilda someday, I fucking love that movie. So G then shoots the alien ship, causing it to explode, pretty much destroying it completely. And then, guys, I just want to remind you, Manila is still in this fucking movie. Okay, is he doing anything? No, he's just. And I'm like,
he
fuck,
wants
go
Dad
away.
to love him.
I hate
Dad
him.
Don't care.
I hate this stupid, ugly ass fucking thing, man. It's ugly as shit.
He said, "Why don't he want me, man?"
He keeps. Oh no! Don't bring that. No. Why don't he want me, man?
Why don't he want me, man?
It's the fucking saddest scene in a sitcom ever.
I mean, really.
He said, "I'll be twice the Godzilla he ever was."
Except for he's like this tiny.
Then they had to give Manila atomic breath, and I went, "No, don't do that."
They give him an atomic belch. Like it's like it's
stupid.
This is a fart to win.
Go watch Son of Godzilla. You'll understand.
Then he walks off with his dad, and
he's all proud of himself. Into the sunset.
Captain Mustache gets his girl.
Everyone else is just as confused as we are.
The other guy gets his girl too. He's
the other guy gets his girl, even though they never look like they're ever gonna be a thing. It's like, the next day they went their separate ways and never saw each other again.
He's just waiting for the camera to turn off. He's just like,
oh, the captain is all about it. He's like, I'm about to kiss some.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm waiting to get these mitochondria. You know what I mean?
Hey guys, you still got that these old zillion blue chews? You still got zillion blue chews? Bring them over here. I need a few. She about
Which,
to
by the way, one more time, that promo code is
no, it's not Dissect That Film. It's DTF because it's not just doesn't just stand for Dissect That Film. It also stands for Down to Folk. Did I do that on purpose? No. Because I would have changed our name, but way earlier if I knew that was what people would associate the show with. But that is it. That is Godzilla Final Wars from 2004.
What was that laugh? I asked myself. I'm trying to recreate that as much as possible. I don't think I've ever laughed like that in my life. That was new. What is that? This is my new laugh for 2024. New year, new laugh.
We have a spanking new podcast for your ear holes called Doom Generation.
Available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Later, Doomers.
It's the end of Godzilla Month. I'm so sad. But now it's time to go around the room and talk about our final thoughts on this movie. Paul, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, so is this a perfect Godzilla movie? Not in any way means possible. Is this movie fun as fuck? Absolutely. This is a movie, though. This is a Godzilla movie that needs to be seen in a group, though. This is not a solo watch. This is a, hey, I've got a bunch of friends over. We're going to have some brewskis. We're going to have some pizza and throw on a fun this is a good Godzilla anniversary movie with friends. But it does have something that the other movies do not have. No other Godzilla movie has it. And that's Greg. So I got to give it some kind of love because this movie has Greg. But no, this movie still, I have nostalgia to this movie or I have an affinity towards this film just because this is what got Milo into Godzilla. So it has a special place in my heart because he showed interest in big monsters at the Pacific Rim. So I bought a bunch of these old Millennium Era and some of the the Showa era and stuff like that, like on DVD, and he got really into them. And now he just anything. He absorbs any and all Godzilla he can get because of this movie. So it's like, yeah, its movie is a train wreck, but it's a fun train wreck. So that's my final war thought.
It's my final war thought. Angela.
Yeah. So I remember the first time we watched this, we did watch it in a group, and it was awesome watching it. Dan walked out in the middle of it because he's just like, he does not like this movie.
Old man Dan.
He does not like this, and he said next week he's gonna complain. He wanted me to put him on speakerphone when I was on the phone with him, just so he could complain to you guys. I'm like, you can't hear them. They can hear you, but you can't hear them. He's like, I'll complain next week. But I love this movie. Is it the best? No. Is it worth the watch? Yes. The scene where Godzilla and Monster X are fighting and they both are shooting their beams at each other, I want that on a poster or t-shirt or something. That is my favorite scene in this whole movie. I love it. I love the fights.
You just need to have that. There's your shirt. You have that
Yes.
shot. It says powered by Zillion Blue Chew.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna put Minya at the end where he shoots it down. That's powered by Blue Chew.
I completely forgot.
Yes, please watch it.
Yes.
Please watch it.
I completely forgot to ask you guys about your history with this movie in the beginning of the episode, and you know what? Too late.
I think I mentioned it several times.
Okay,
throughout.
probably.
Yeah.
Angela's probably talked about it.
And like I said,
Listen,
I mentioned
things were stressful in the beginning of the episode. My mind was in a million places, and sometimes I forget to mention certain things. So here we are. We're at the end of the episode now. We ain't going back. We ain't going back.
This is the Patreon episode too, right?
No, this is a
regular episode.
This is a regular episode. We don't.
That's right.
There is no Patreon episode this month because the Monster Zone episode is free. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was just a Patreon poll.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is our Patreon poll episode. So
yeah.
Ignore that man behind the curtain.
Greg.
Greg, get back over there.
I had a blast with this movie. I definitely want to rewatch it. I want to get a big old heavy fucking drink, some fucking popcorn, and just veg out to this movie again, because this was a blast. And the fact is, like, my notes were a week old, and trying to decipher my notes after that long, because usually I watch a movie like the day before we record, so it's fresh. Things happen, and recording it happened a little bit later, so my brain starts to it doesn't stay in there for very long. So when I'm going through my notes and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? What was I talking about there? I think it made it fun. But I had a blast with this movie. I really did. I thought the designs for all the monsters were fun. I like Godzilla in this. The human story is batshit crazy, but actually I was more invested in all the crazy bullshit that was happening in this than I was in some of the other ones we've watched. It's fun. It's just a straight up fun movie. Like, the fact that it's a big fuck you to Zilla, but it was still fun to see Zilla in there. I had a blast. I had a great time. That's really all I could say. It's, I don't want to get too deep into it. I had a really good time with this. Now it's time to go over to social media and see what you all had to say. We didn't get many comments. Let me pop that up. I think we got one over on Twitter from our good friend Darren from NostalgiaCast and Back to Bluey, or at DW Lumberg on Twitter, who said, I actually have a blast with this one. For once, the plot is just as cuckoo bananas as the rest of the film, and everyone plays it like they're on a cocaine high. Perfect description, Darren. We wouldn't expect anything less from you. Let's see. Let's go over to Instagram. Ooh, we did get one. From our friend and patron of the show, Big Optimus 33, or Daniel Collins, said, I wasn't the biggest fan of this movie at first, but now I really enjoy it. Hell yeah. So if you are somebody who has seen this movie once and didn't like it initially, please go back and check it out, because I think you'll have I think you'll have a good time.
I think you missed one here on Twitter. It's at Greg said, make sure you do pick up that Zillion Blue Chew. It works. So I think you missed that. You missed that. I think it's newer. I think they just put it because this is live. Greg's watching this. So.
There will be. I'm gonna put a fake fucking website like www.zillionbluechew.com. Be like, and every time I put it somewhere, the blue is gonna be spelled different.
Exactly.
BLOO, blow chew. What the fuck is it?
CH.
They're all gonna be actual websites too. People are gonna go to them like, I don't understand.
And then all of them are just a picture that Angel designs of the derpy thing that says Greg.
Yes.
Greg. We love Greg. We definitely
Endorsed by Greg.
We definitely need to make up a shirt and put it on the store of just
the official
Greg.
Mascot.
Yeah.
Greg is the official mascot of Dissect That Film.
Just a derpy crab. Derp. All right, well, that is it for Godzilla Month. I'm super sad, but I know we're going to be back doing more Godzilla movies in the future. -1, we haven't covered -1 as a full episode yet, and we definitely have to, but I do not want to cover that movie until I have that beautiful Japanese 4K Blu-ray special edition in my fucking hand. So yeah, this isn't the end of Godzilla, but this is the end of Godzilla Month, and the month completely dedicated to Godzilla. Yes, I'm waiting for it to come in the mail.
Yeah.
I was able to order it during its second batch, so I'll probably won't get it till like January.
Dan's got it, right?
Yeah, you guys got it in the first batch. I had to wait for the second one to come out.
It's somewhere.
He wasn't gonna get it, and he's like, I don't know if because he's telling me, I was like, I'm not gonna get it because at that price point, and it was like a day later, he said, I got it. I was like, I knew you would. I was like,
yeah, because he's like, I want to get it. I'm like, get it now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, don't wait.
Because I think after this wave that you get, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the U.S. release Steelbook. I'm definitely snagging that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
So yeah, but like I said, Godzilla is not going to be. This isn't the end of our conversation about Big G. Of course, it's not our last conversation about monster movies, because guess what, guys? We have a monster show. It's over on Patreon right now, but maybe in the future it could become something even more. It's called The Monster Zone, and it's hosted by Dan and Angela, where once a month we spin a wheel and we talk about a monster movie. This month, it was free for everybody. We talked about Terror of Mechagodzilla from 1975. Next month, Angela, do you have it written down? What we're talking about in December?
Shit. Somewhere. Space Amoeba. Is it?
Space Amoeba from
Space Amoeba.
from a year I don't remember. It's from
somewhere
sometime
out there.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing in December. So if you want to support us and get that access to that show, go over to patreon.com/dissect that film and drop. You can join us at the $3 tier for access to that show, or if you want to just drop a single dollar, so you can get early access to episodes and a bunch of other stuff that I kind of just randomly drop here and there. There's going to be more stuff. 2025, going to be working on some stuff. Not going to talk about that now. Or you can join at the free tier, where you can, join and help vote on the polls that I'll be putting out. 2025 is going to be a little bit different, but we are going to be doing one last Patreon poll for 2024. So stay tuned for that. And that's it for the Patreon. Paul, before I get into all the other bullshit that I do at the end of the show, where can people find you and your wonderful show, Flicks and Friends?
So our podcast is available on pretty much every podcasting option. Apple, I don't think Google Play is a thing anymore. Spotify, everything you listen to our bullshit on, you can find it. And we also have a Patreon, I believe. I think it's at Flicks and Friends Podcast.
Yep.
And Dustin usually has some kind of clever thing to say here, and I'm not as good at it as he is. But insert clever statement here about our Patreon. And we have all the socials as well. I think we, just like you guys, just got a Blue Sky.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Jeez. Got to talk about all these new social medias.
Yeah. So we just got one of those as well. So we can get off on what's going to, I think, soon turn into something very volatile. So in Twitter, but or X or whatever the hell
it's Twitter. It'll be Twitter until it's completely obliterated from existence.
Yeah, a Twitterated. But yeah, we're on all the same social medias, and it's at Flicks and Friends, maybe, or at F_.
Yeah, you guys have a link tree.
podcast.
I know you guys have a link tree, so I'll make sure to put the link tree and everything down in the description.
See, I didn't even know we had a link tree. I didn't even know we had a link tree.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you, buddy. It's
I
okay.
appreciate you, buddy.
I understand that you're not the guy that does this.
I do a thing.
You do it better than Nate from Give Me Back My Action Horror. He's terrible at it.
At least I'm aware, I guess, that we have it. So I'm like, I know these things exist. I know they're in the ether. Look, man, like I said, Dustin pulls all the weight on our show. He is the king of the show. He's the daddy. I'm the mommy. So
Daddy? Sorry.
It's like I make all the baked goods and provide all the tasty treats, and
I mean, that's great.
Best way to go about it.
Exactly.
That's like my favorite person. But yeah, all the links will be down in the description. As for us, you can follow, like I stated, you can follow us on pretty much all the social media apps. We're still on Twitter for now, until I get angry enough where I say fuck it. But we're on all the other ones. We do have a Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. We're on Instagram and Threads at Dissect That Film Pod because hackers suck. So we had to start a new one of those. So that's the only one that's different. But if you just want to find all of our links, go to our link tree, which will also be in the description, linktree / Dissect That Film. Where we have links to our Patreon, to our merch store, which I never talk about, but there's merch in, designs in there. And then all the podcast apps you can find us at. Make sure you leave us 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. It really helps us get into more people's ears. I think we're at like 34, 35 reviews on Spotify. Would like to get to 40 before the end of the year. So make sure, if you listen to us on Spotify, make sure to leave 5 stars. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave us 5 stars. You can also leave us a review. We'd appreciate that. I don't know where we're at over there, but let's hit another milestone over there. And then you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/Dissect That Film, where we do the video version. You can see us and all the craziness that we do. Sometimes I put clips of the movies into the episodes if I feel like it. We do YouTube premieres every Thursday between like 7 and 8 o'clock. That's where you'll first see the episode before the full release of the audio version will be released on Friday. All that fun stuff. I think that's about it. So now we're going to thank our wonderful patrons. We have Billy Joseph Jr., Andrew Schoening, Corey Morissette, Daniel Collins, Jason, the Flicks and Friends podcast, or Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming, Anna Presley, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Robert Stewart, Rudy 5453, Movie Fanatic, Paul Jansen, Dennis, Charles, Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast, and official Joey C. Thank you all for supporting us over on Patreon, and thank you to everybody else for just supporting us, period, because without you, this show wouldn't exist. And we're still having fun, so we ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I do need a nap, but we're not going anywhere. All right? We're 184 episodes into this bitch. We ain't going nowhere. We got to at least make it to 200, baby. We're so close. Paul, again, thank you so much for being here. You'll be back very soon. No doubt about it. We didn't even talk about what we're doing next week. Next week is holiday favorites. Holy shit. I'm like all over the goddamn place today. Holiday favorites are back, or Christmas favorites. So we each pick a movie we're going to be talking about that takes place, during Christmas or the holidays. Next week, we're going right back to Rankin and Bass, as we're going to be talking about 1970s Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which somehow we're going to take a movie that is like 35 minutes long and we're going to turn it into like an hour and a half episodes.
I'm gonna say, is the Heat Miser returning?
No, well, it's the Heat Miser. Heat Miser's not in that one.
No, because Angel, you dressed up as Heat Miser.
Yeah.
I love Heat Miser.
I meant the Heat Miser currently that's in this chat.
This is the one that has my favorite song. You put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be. I'm sorry, I'll save the song for next week. But I'm very excited to get into that. We got a lot of fun episodes. We're gonna have some fun guests. No guests next week, which is exciting because I wanted to keep the Rankin and Bass episode like our other Rankin Bass episodes, where it was just us three. It's gonna be fun. We also haven't had a core 3 episode in a while, so it's gonna be fun to kind of just be us, and then we're gonna have a guest. We're gonna have guests back for the rest of the year. So yeah, that's everything. I don't think I have anything else. You guys, a lot of people probably already stopped listening to the episode at this point, but if you have listened all the way to the end, you fucking rule. Thank you so much. I'm glad you care enough to listen to the very end.
And Greg loves you.
Greg loves you. We love you too, Greg. And until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Angela of DNA Gaming. And that is Paul from the Flicks and Friends podcast. This has been another episode of Dissect That Film. We'll see you all again next time. Cue Godzilla roar.